Let's say you have two entities, parent entity and child entity. And child entity has this parent entity ID that refers to this parent entity table. How would you load this child entity information for a parent entity when it comes to Magento 2 entities and models? So in this video, I would like to show you 5 different ways on how you can add this relation between these parent and child entities. For the purpose of the video example, I'm going to use a newly developed feature called Magento Interactive Quiz that has basically two entities, quiz as an entity and questions. So these questions are related to quiz, and quiz is a parent entity and questions within this quiz are child entities of a quiz. As we can see, there is one quiz that contains information about questions. So it's two separate tables in Magento 2, and quiz entity contains information about or relation to the information about number of questions. How we can do this? As you know, in Magento 2, in order to have an entity, you have to implement model, resource model, and collection. And when it comes to collections, usual practice is to use collection and use join left within this collection in order to join some third-party table or other entity in order to get this result. There are alternative ways, so let's go one by one. So first way of loading information about number of questions is to go directly to collection class and create a method, something like load related questions or load related entity, and use something like get select join left, where you would join that table and you will use primary fields in order to get information about, in our example, is question count, and you will group this by some field. So it's one of the ways. However, this way is limited by the fact that you will create a custom method in a collection, and in all your client code, you have to use that custom method in order to ensure that additional information as part of the parent entity is loaded in that place where you want it to be. Alternatively, if you use repository design pattern, you can create a repository for this entity. So it's going to be quiz repository, and inside this quiz repository, so it's inside service directory, quiz repository, you can have additional processors that are going to be responsible for triggering additional processor classes, and each class can process instance of a collection. So in this case, what can be done as part of getList method, additional join processor can be added before, let's say, collection processor, and join processor will be responsible for providing a list of processors that will be triggered every time a client's code triggers getList method. And in this case, you would need to create a repository, and if you have the repository class, it's fine. You would need to create custom join processor. You have to also add di.xml configuration, but the issue with this approach would be, or limitation would be, that in order for you to use join processor, and join processor works in a way that it only triggers your custom join class only if you have filter applied. If I need to have count of questions as part of my quiz entity loaded through collection, I would need to apply some custom filter. However, in my case, there is no custom filter. I just need additional information for every quiz I load through collection. So if it's not the case in your scenario, so probably join processor would not work. But if you need to join additional tables and information within those additional tables, and you have some filters, it would be a good choice in terms of extending your collection instance. A third way is my favorite, is to use collection processor custom class, and I defined a question count where I created a class that implements collection processor interface, and this collection processor interface class has process method where it gets search criteria and collection instance through my repository and collection processor that is passed via getList method. And this collection instance can be customized without any conditions or with my custom conditions. In my case, I don't have any conditions. I just need to join additional table, question table, and with the conditions that I just want to grab count of all questions that are assigned to a parent entity, quiz entity, and retrieve it as a custom column with the name question underscore count. And this question count is also added as a collection processor, and collection processor in this scenario has to be also customized. It means that I need to declare a virtual type for my collection question processor. I need to declare custom collection processor and pass this collection processor as a custom class into my repository. In this way, I will get a custom class that will be triggered every time getList method will be triggered via quiz repository. Fourth way of adding this additional information from a child table is to create a custom PHP class where you will not use any collection, but you will use connection interface where you will configure your select, you will add all necessary joins, and you will use this method and this class in all places where you need to use them. However, the downside of this is that instead of using collection, you're going to use your custom class, custom method, and if you need to extend, add some additional information, it won't be possible unless you will start using some plugins or you will need to modify this PHP class. Fifth way how you can extend a collection is to create an observer, well-known event observer design pattern that can be used in order to add some additional join into your collection before collection is loaded. It's not very obvious, maybe it's not really recommended way of extending collection, however, it's still one of the ways on how you can extend collection and add your child entity to load together with parent entity. I'm sure that there are some other ways on how you can link parent and child entities and load information together for a parent entity. Let me know in the comments below what you think, what are your approaches on linking these two entities, and I would be happy to discuss in the upcoming videos. And if you would like to practice your Magento skills, I would like to invite you to magemastery.net/quizzes. It's a new page with interactive quizzes. There is a Magento Developer Essentials quiz where you can practice, you can see what are your knowledge gaps when it comes to Magento, and you can, free of charge, use this interactive quiz on your own pace. You can get hints, advices, and you can check answers immediately when you will hit check my answer. And at the end, you will get a total score and recommendations what you should learn next in order to improve your Magento 2 knowledge. See you in the next video. Bye.